Fine. So Hannah was standing next to the Englishman and she was observing very carefully, and there were various thoughts coming in her mind. So she just thought about it, that how actually the army people, when the runaway captured soldier, must be treated by their enemies. By for this, she remembered General Takema. General Takema was a general who got the credit to for the victory in the Battle of Manchuria. But actually, he was a very cruel man. He used to beat his wife, right? So he realized that the man could be so cruel at his domestic front, would he not be cruel with his enemies? So she realized what kind of a treatment would have been given to these people. So she hoped anxiously that this young man had not been tortured, and it was at this moment that she observed deep red scars on his neck. There were deep red scars under the ear. So she told her husband that there are scars. But Dr. Sudhao was busy doing his surgery and he didn't bother much because he was very much absorbed in his work, right? Uh, Darshika, please read the entire page and then I'm going to give you the explanation, right? Please read because there are small lines, small conversations. So kindly read it and then I'll give the explanation.
All thought left him. He felt only the purest pleasure. He probed with his fingers, delicately familiar with every atom of his human body. His old American professor of anatomy had seen to that knowledge. Ignorance of the human body is the surgeon's cardinal sin, sirs. He had thundered at his classes year after year to operate without as complete knowledge of the body as if you had made it. Anything less than that is murder. It is quite at the kidney, my friend. Shadow murmured. It was his habit to murmur to the patient when he forgot himself in an operation. My friend. He always called his patient, and so now he did, forgetting that this was his friend. Then quickly, with the cleanest and most precise of incisions, the bullet was out. The man quivered, but he was still unconscious. Nevertheless, he murmured a few English words. Guts, he muttered, choking. They God, my guts. Shadow, Hannah cried sharply. Hush. Shadow said. The man sank again into silence so profound that Shadow took up his wrist, hating the touch of it. Yes, there was still a pulse so faint, so feeble, but enough, if he wanted the man to live, to give hope. But certainly I do not want this man to live, he thought. No more anesthetic, he told Hannah. He turned as swiftly as though he had never paused, and from his medicines he chose a small vial and from it filled a hypodermic and thrust it into the patient's left arm. Then putting down the needle, he took the man's wrist again. The pulse under his finger fluttered once or twice and then grew stronger. This man will live in spite of all, he said to Hannah and sighed. The young man woke, so weak, his blue eyes so terrified when he perceived.
Okay. Am I audible to everybody? Children, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Right. Now, Hannah noticed those scars, but Dr. Sudhao was busy in his work. He was a perfect, he was a very good doctor. He was a very good surgeon. So it was not the first time that when he was operating or when he was in his work, he didn't actually pay attention to anything. He was so much, you know, he so much dived into his work. And he believed that if a doctor doesn't know the proper functioning and the proper parts of the body, then it's like committing a murder. Unless and until you have the complete knowledge, you cannot perform a job. But it's anything. And when we talk about human body, when we talk about the profession of doctor, it's something very, very crucial. So they're dealing with human body, they're dealing with human life. So they have to be very particular about things. So that is what Dr. Sudhao believed. So he was very proficient in his field and he did a lot to, he has put in a lot of efforts for becoming a doctor, a lot of knowledge he had, profound knowledge he had. Now, it is not quite the kidney, my friend. Dr. Sudhao said it is not quite at the kidney. Means a bullet shot was not clear, near to the kidney. He was in a habit of murmuring while doing his work, and he called him my friend, forgetting that this time the patient in front of him was not his friend, rather he was an enemy. Fine. So this is ironical here. The word my friend was ironical here. And then he found that the man was muttering something in his unconscious state of mind. Guts, he muttered, choking. They got my guts. Sadao, Hana cried sharply. So Hana sharply cried, Sadao, pay attention. The man is saying something. But the man was so, Dr. Sadao was still busy in his work. He didn't want to pay attention to anything, right? Somewhere he was again in that confusion where he says that I certainly do not want that this man should live, right? He thought, no more anesthetic, he told Hannah. So he told Hannah that no more, don't give him any more anesthesia. And he turned as swiftly as he had never paused away from his medicines. He chose a small vial and filled a hypodermic and thrust it into patient's left arm. So he was doing what all he could do to ensure that the man was unconscious and he was not suffering much. He was not much in pain. So this man will live in spite of all. So here Dr. Sadao says that in spite of all, he had suffered so much. He was tortured perhaps by the by the army people. Then he ran away. He shot a bullet at his back. Then he had to cross that dangerous coast sea. He was there, and then the wound was further more injury was given to the wound by that spiked rocks. But still, he managed everything. So he said that young man will definitely survive, but he will need some time for that. Please continue further, Darshika.
Perceived where he was, that Hannah felt compelled to apologize. She herself served him, for none of the servants would enter the room. When she came in the first time, she saw him summon his small strength to be prepared for some fearful thing. Don't be afraid, she begged him softly. How come you speak English? He gasped. I was a long time in America, she replied. She saw that he wanted to reply to that, but he could not, and so she knelt and fed him gently from the porcelain spoon. He ate unwillingly, but still he ate. Now you will soon be strong, she said, not liking him and yet moved to comfort him. He did not answer. When Shadao came in the third day after the operation, he found the young man sitting up, his face bloodless with the effort. Lie down, Shadao cried. Do you want to die? He forced the man down gently and strongly and examined the wound. You may kill yourself if you do sort of thing, he scolded. What are you going to do with me? The boy muttered. He looked just now barely 17. Are you going to hand me over? For a moment, Shadow did not answer. He finished his examination and then pulled the silk quilt over the man. I do not know myself what I shall do with you, he said. I ought of course to give you to the police. You are a prisoner of war. No, do not tell me anything. He put up his hand as he saw the man was about to speak. Do not even tell me your name unless I ask it. They looked at each other for a moment, and then the young man closed his eyes and turned his face to the wall. Okay, he whispered, his mouth a bitter line. Outside the door, Hannah was waiting for Shadao. He saw at once that she was in trouble. Shadao, Yummy tells me the servants fell. They cannot stay if we hide this man here anymore, she said. She tells me that they are saying that you and I were so long.
Okay. Now, the surgery was done. After that, when he gained back his conscience, the man wanted to speak to Hannah. The man wanted to speak to Dr. Sudao also, right? So when Hannah said, don't be afraid. He said, oh, you speak such a good English. How do you know English? So Hannah said, I have been in America for quite a long time and I know how to do English and you will be better soon. See, though Hannah herself was scared because she had an enemy at her house, the enemy could bring any kind of danger to them. The enemy himself could be a threat to them, right? So there were different insecurities in Hannah's mind also. But still, Hannah was uh, consoling him, was providing him comfort because her husband, being a doctor, has treated him. So it was a responsibility, and we will find throughout the story, as I discussed this thing with you guys yesterday also, Hannah was a very supportive wife, right? So that was the only thing what Hannah did, and he just comforted him. So when Sadao came in the third day after the surgery, it was 3 days now the man was inside their house. So after the third day, when Sadao entered in, the man was sitting up. So Sadao said, why are you why are you sitting like this? You have to lie down. It's like killing yourself, right? What are you going to do with me? The boy muttered. Now the boy, somewhere he was very scared because ultimately he was in the house of his enemy, right? So, and he had already been tortured so much by the soldiers, right? So he was like very insecure and said, now what are you going to do with me? So for a moment, Sadao did not answer. He finished his examination as a doctor and then he put the quilt over him. So he says, I don't know what I'm going to do with you next. And I should have given you to the police till now. You are a prisoner of war, and so please do not talk to me. Do not even tell me your name unless and until I ask you. So Sudao just tries to maintain a distance from him. Basically, what we find that as a doctor, he has fulfilled all his responsibilities of treating the patient, but he doesn't want to be close with him. He doesn't want to sympathize with him or console with him. He simply maintains a distance, telling him, here, look, you're my enemy ultimately. And once you're fine, I'm going to hand you over to the cops. So don't try to be close to me and don't try to be friendly with me. So they looked at each other for a moment, and then the young man closed his eyes and turned his face to the wall. Now, by this time, Hannah was waiting for Dr. Sudao outside. So when Dr. Sudao goes outside, Hannah tells Dr. Sudao that there is a problem. The servants were talking against their owner, talking against Hannah and Dr. Sudao. They really objected that the man was in the house, the enemy, the white man was inside the house for last 3 days. So they purposely talked in front of Hannah so that Hannah could hear their conversation, right? While Hannah was working, they talked about that the man should have been killed by now. Our master is very fond of treating anybody. He could treat anybody, no matter who he is, right? So, and the gardener talks about that the gardener was the one who has been looking after the moss gardens in Japan, and he was hired by Sadao's father. So he was an old, known one. He was not a new employee, he was an old employee and he was hired at the time of Sadao's father. So they talk about all these things and they specifically talk all these things so that Hannah could hear the conversation and pass it forward that if the owner is not going to show this enemy or hand over this enemy to the police, then they would not be able to continue any further. Yumi, the nanny of children, she showed her concern that what would be the future of the children if the father is condemned as a traitor, right? So all these things they purposefully wanted that Hannah should air it, and so Hannah is now passing on all these things to her husband, right? Darshika, please read out this part. But here Dr. Sudao clears that I hate Americans. I'm not in favor of. Darshika, please continue.
It is, it is not true, Shadao said. Shadao said harshly, Americans are our enemies, but I have been trained not to let a man die if I can help it. The servants cannot understand that. She said anxiously. No, he agreed. Neither seemed able to say more, and somehow the household dragged on. The servants grew more watchful. Their courtesy was as careful as ever, but their eyes were cold upon the pair to whom they were hired. It is clear what our master ought to do, the old gardener said one morning. He had worked with flowers all his life and had been a specialist too in moss. For Shadow's father, he had made one of the finest moss gardens in Japan, sweeping the bright green carpet constantly so that not a leaf or a pine needle marred the velvet of its surface. My old master's son know very well what he ought to do, he now said, pinched a bud from a bush as he spoke. When the man was so near death, why did he not let him bleed? That young master is so proud of his skill to save life that he saved any life, the cook said contemptuously. She split a false neck skillfully and held the fluttering bird and let its blood flow into the roots of wisteria vine. Blood is the best of fertilizers, and the old gardener would not let her, her waste a drop of it. It is, a, it is the children of whom we must think. Yummy said sadly. What will be their fate if their father is condemned as a traitor? They did not try to hide what they said from the ears of Hannah as she stood arranging the day's flower in the veranda nearby, and she knew they spoke on purpose that she might hear. That they were that they were right, she knew too in the most of her being, but there was another part of her which she herself could not understand. It was not sentimental liking of the prisoner. She had come to think of him as a prisoner. She had not liked him even yesterday.
Okay. Now, this whole explanation I've already given it to you. That the servants, they objected of having the enemy inside their house, right? They tried to make Hannah and Dr. Sudao indirectly understand that they are not going to continue working there any further if they are not going to get rid of this enemy. Now, different comments were passed sarcastically, showing the concern for the children's future, talking about that Dr. Sudao is very fond of doing surgeries, is very fond of saving lives, no matter whosoever life it is. So they specifically did all this to ensure, and they all were, old servants. They had quite old connections with the house, so they were very much connected to the house. So they were feeling bad, but at the same time, they don't want to live in the house if the enemy continues to live in the house. Now, this was a trouble for Dr. Sadao and Hannah, and they realized that the servants, if they go, even if they go out of the house, even if they leave the job, then this might bring a trouble for them because they might inform the police or something, right? So ultimately, Dr. Sadao and Hannah, now they were worried that what they should definitely get rid of this enemy at the earliest. Chalo. Darshika, please continue.
Anyway, let me tell you that my name is Tom. She had only borne her little distance woe. She saw hurt in his eyes, but she did not wish to assu- uh, assuage it. Indeed, he was a great trouble in this house. As for Shadao, every day he explained the wound carefully. The last stitches had been pulled out this morning, and the young man would, in a fortnight, be nearly as well as ever. Shadao went back to his office and carefully typed a letter to the chief of police reporting the whole matter. On the 21st day of February, an escaped prisoner was washed up on the shore in front of my house. So far, he typed and then he opened a secret drawer of his desk and put the unfinished report into it. On the 17th day after that, two things happened. In the morning, the servants left together, their belongings tied in large square cotton kerchiefs. When Hannah got up in the morning, nothing was done. The house not cleaned and the food not prepared, and she knew what it meant. It was dismayed, and she was dismayed and even terrified. But her pride as a mistress would not allow her to show it. Instead, she inclined her head gracefully when they appeared before her in the kitchen, and she paid them off and thanked them for all that they had done for her. They were crying, but she did not cry. The cook and the gardener had served Shadow since he was a little boy in his father's house, and Yummy cried because of the children. She was so grieving that after she had gone, she ran back to Hannah. If the baby misses me too much tonight, send for me. I'm not going to my own house, and you know where it is. Thank you, Hannah said, smiling. But she told herself she would not send for Yami. However, the baby cried. She made the breakfast and Shadao helped with the children. Neither of them spoke of the servants beyond the fact that they were gone. But after Hannah had taken morning food to the prisoner, she came back to Shadao. Why is it we cannot see clearly what we ought to do? She asked him. Even the servants see more clearly than we do. Why are we different from other Japanese? Shadao did not answer, but a little later he went into the room where the prisoner was and said brusquely,
Okay. Now, when Hannah told all these things to Dr. Sadao was also worried. See, it was not that they wanted that the enemy should live in their house, but the only thing Dr. Sadao has in his mind was that let him be fine and then I'm going to hand him over to the police. But yes, we will find that though not said directly by Dr. Sadao, but because he had saved the man, because he has treated him, given him medical attention, at a point he didn't want that he should be killed, right? So, but he definitely he was a patriot. He wanted to get rid of this enemy because he also knew it was not just that he was a patriot. He was also well aware of it that he could get into a big trouble if the man continues to live in the house, right? So he examined the wound carefully every morning, and within a fortnight, he realized that the man would be fine. But Sudhao went back to his office and he typed a letter to the police about what all had happened, where he found this man, what was his condition, and then he wrote it down that now I want to hand him over. But after writing the report, this unfinished report, he kept it back in his drawer, in his secret drawer. He never posted it. He didn't post it. On the seventh day after that, two things happened in the morning. The servants left together, their belongings tied in large square cotton kerchiefs. So Hannah got up in the morning and she found that the servants were ready to leave the house. Nothing was done. The house was not clean. The food was not prepared, and Hannah had to manage everything on her own. Uh, she paid them and thanked them for all that they had done for her. So the servants told them that now we are leaving the house, we are leaving your job because you are having the enemy in the house. So the servants, though, because as I told you earlier, also they were quite connected to the class as connected to the family because they were hired almost by uh, for a very long time. They were hired by Dr. Sudao's father. So they were crying, but Hannah tried to be very strong in front of them, and she didn't show any kind of, she didn't react at all. The cook and the gardener had served Sudao since he was a little boy in his father's house. So Yumi also cried because she was very much connected to the little children. Yumi, after going, she came back and she says, if the baby misses me too much tonight, please call me back. I'm not going to my own house because you know where it is. Perhaps her house was very far off. So she says, I'm not going back to my house. And if you feel that the babies are very uncomfortable and they're missing me too much, you can call back on me. She made the breakfast and Sadao helped with the children. Neither of them spoke of the servants beyond the fact that they were gone. But after Hannah had taken morning food to the prisoner, she came back to Sadao. So Hannah came back to Sadao after cooking. Why is it we cannot see clearly what we ought to do? Now, Dr. Sadao spoke his what was going in his head and heart. He spoke, discussed all those things with his wife. He said, "Why is it that we know some things are not going in a proper manner? Things are going wrong. This is not good for us. This is not good for our future or for our children." But when even the servants can see very clearly, then why are we different from other Japanese? Why are we not able to see that? Sadao did not answer. This was what Hannah questioned. So, moreover, both Sadao and Hannah, they were thinking in the same line. They knew things were going wrong, but they could not see it. The head and heart were perhaps going in different directions. The head said, this is an enemy, hand him over to the police. But the doctor's heart and that human feelings told them that no, he is an injured man. Treat him once he gets well, then let's think about what to do of him. So Sadao did not answer, but a little later he went into the room where the prisoner was and said brusquely, today you may get up on your feet and I want you to stay up only 5 minutes at a time. So he says that just for 5 minutes, please get up. I mean, he wanted that he should start with his exercising, getting up on his feet, because, you know, The treatment is done within a day. Treatment, if you talk about the surgery, it takes few hours. But that recovery process is quite slow. That is the reason when patients are admitted into the hospital for a surgery or something, the doctors try to, the patient is hospitalized, kept in the hospital for a few more days so that they are under the observation of the doctor. This was his observation time going on, that the doctor was there to look after him so that there is no complication after surgery, there are no side effects and all these things. So now perhaps he was getting well, but the recovery was taking some time. So that day he went back to him and asked him how you can get up and walk few steps so that your body gets that stamina back. Though gradually, not immediately, but yes, it needs to get back on its appropriate position. So tomorrow you may try it twice as long. It would be well that you get back your strength as quickly as possible, right? Darshika, ye wale do stanzas pad lo. We are just left with last 2-3 minutes only, I think. So you can read out these two stanzas.
He saw the flicker of terror on the young face that was still very pale. Okay, the boy murmured. Evidently, he was determined to say more. I feel I ought to thank you, doctor, for having saved my life. Don't thank me too early, Shadow said coldly. He saw the flicker of terror again in the boy's eyes, terror as unmistakable as an animal's. The scars on his neck were crimson for a moment. Those scars, what were they? Shadow did not ask.
Okay. He saw the flicker of terror on the young face. Now he could see that the man is asking me to get up and start walking. Now what next is he going to do with me? Ultimately, he was in an enemy country. You know, when you are in your nation somewhere, you feel protected. But when you know your country is in a state of war with another country and you happen to be in that country, you feel unsafe, right? So and that too, he was a soldier. He was in a bad condition, so he was terrorized. He saw the flicker of terror on the young man's face, and evidently he was determined to say more. I feel I ought to thank you. So, but still, he said that I think I should thank you, doctor, for saving my life. Don't thank me too early, said said coldly. He saw the flicker of terror again in the boy's eyes, terror as unmistakable as an animal's. The scars on his neck were crimson for a moment. Those scars, what were they? Siddharth did not ask. Now, you remember when he was performing the surgery, Hannah had pointed out that there are scars behind his neck. So they were very much visible. So now when Dr. Sudhao told him, please don't thank me too early. So again, the man was scared that what next, what's next is going to happen to me. The doctor has saved my life, but he says, don't be thankful to me. That means he's going to do something wrong with me. So what is he going to do? How is he going to torture me? What harm he could bring to me? So all these things, they were coming in the young white man's brain, white man's head. So Dr. Sudhao didn't ask about what scars it was under behind his ears. Was he tortured? Was he given that harsh treatment? Was he beaten or something had gone wrong? He didn't enter into that conversation. But it was very much clear to Dr. Sudhao that he had to hand him over to the police. So the man was definitely scared and insecure, though he was thankful to the doctor for saving his life. But that fear was very much in him. Continue from the stanza in the afternoon.
Okay, ma'am.
Right? We can stop here.